Well, hello everyone, and welcome to our Tuesday training call. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Gillian Joyce. I'm a Pro 6 from Yeppoon on the Capricorn Coast. And this evening I'll be taking you through our weekly training call. For anybody who's new on this evening, welcome, welcome. We always love to welcome all of our newbies. We do this every Tuesday, and it's always great to plug in and stay connected with the team. We'll hand out all the latest updates, give you some really valuable content to take away, some things to think about, but also it's great just to see the faces of everyone and stay connected. So just a few quick reminders before we get into our training for this evening. So first of all, just some upcoming events. So our weekly presentations this week, tomorrow evening, Wednesday evening, the Australia-wide presentation is being run by our Pro 7 Beata Corapatwa, or Beata, I'll use for Beata. She's absolutely lovely. She is somebody who has incredible wealth and reasons for doing this. She's not only got an incredible story herself, but she does a lot of this just out of the charity of her heart. She gives back a lot of her money, so she's a great person to get people in front of. But not only that, her best friend, Dr. Nellie, who's a neuroscientist, is joining her. So that's incredible validation for what we have. So these are two ladies that I would not hesitate in getting your contacts in front of. So invite them on. The Zoom links on the web, on the invitation there, and make sure you're on there yourself if you do have guests on. This will be an incredible Zoom. And then on our Thursday night, so our team weekly presentations, this week we've got Sarah Van Weasel running our presentation. She'll be sharing that invitation into our distributor group tomorrow. So Sarah is fantastic. She's a Pro 4 from the Sunny Coast herself, and she always does an outstanding presentation. So be sure to get your guests on for that one as well. So two great opportunities to invite. With some other little announcements, make sure for anybody who rank advanced last month, Pro 3 or above, or returned to rank for Pro 3 or above last month, you can maintain this month to get all of those bonuses again in the Flip the Switch promo. So if you're unsure but you did receive a bonus from last month's efforts, make sure you reach out to your upline so you know what you have to do to qualify to get those bonuses again this month. That's a big one. The next announcement is about Global Convention. So it is quickly approaching 94 days and counting down until our Global Convention. Now, the beauty of this convention is that now that it's virtual, you do not have to be there in person. And when you do purchase a ticket, you will have 30 days of access to all of the trainings that occur in that time. So it goes over 2 days, but you'll have 30 days of access to all of the different trainings, and there's already so many incredible guest speakers that have been announced. So what I have suggested to my team today is that you make sure you reach out to all of your team members, make sure they're all registered, but any new distributors that have come in the last 12 months, make sure you're getting them registered using the free tickets in the pack. It's a simple process. You can do it all from your back office. You just have to go to your back office, click event registrations up the top, and add yourself to the event, selecting your free ticket. If anyone needs a short video on that, I did a 2-minute video today. Just send me a private message and I can send you that video on how to do that. But not only that, if you've got any new distributors that might not be using their tickets in the next 12 months, you can transfer those tickets to somebody else as well. So make sure you're utilizing those free tickets within your team. And you can also do that from your back office, transfer them to other names. So make sure you check that out. And then last announcement is a reminder for our You Got This Club. So everybody should be working every single month to get into this club. So this is run by our elites in the estates. Kerry Williams and Maria Williams have gotten together. All you need to do to get into this club each month is to have at least 2 new enrollments, can be distributor or customer, and at least 100 in volume. So it can be distributor volume, customer volume, doesn't matter so long as it's 100 points total, and that will get you into the You Got This Club. Now, last month, there was an incredible training which was shared into the group. So anybody who's qualifying this month, you will go into the group and you will get to see that training as well. And for those that are qualifying this month, there'll be a new training next month as well, which you'll get to participate in. And you'll also get special recognition. Everyone, please keep an eye on your mailboxes if you qualified last month. Maria said you'll get your little recognition in the next week or so. She's sent those all out now, so they will be coming to you. So big congrats to everybody who qualified last month, and to all of those that have already qualified this month. There's quite a few in the club. All right, so let's get into tonight's training. And tonight's training is all about accountability. And this actually came about because I was having a bit of a chat with a couple of our leaders, Kerry, Janelle, I think Talita was in that call as well. And we were just chatting, and we were talking about accountability and, you know, why we either do really well with accountability, or perhaps why we don't do so well with the accountability side of things. And so when it comes to accountability, we know that being accountable is the way in which we get things done, the way in which we succeed in this business. So how can we do it better? And like this quote says, and you've probably all seen it, accountability breeds responsibility. So, you know, there's many different levels of accountability. It's not just about you being accountable to yourself. It's often being accountable to others as well. So tonight's training is all about accountability, and I'm going to give you some tips on how you can really maximize this and get the most out of it. So first of all, accountability. What is it? So it is the state of being accountable, liable, or answerable. So the first person with whom we can be accountable to is ourselves. And this is probably the biggest one. And it's probably the one that people tend to go with first. They'll be like, yep, no, I can do this. I can be accountable to myself. You know, if it's meant to be, it's definitely up to me. And on so many levels, it actually is. Like, we have to make these decisions for ourselves. We have to take those first steps and all the rest of it. But the other problem with being accountable to just ourselves is that not all of us are self-starters. So the things that people will do if they are a self-starter, so if you are really good at being accountable to yourself, you'll do things like joining all, like, let's say you're a brand new distributor into this business, straight away you're going to be, right, I'm going to join all of the relevant groups, I'm going to check the announcements regularly so I know that I'm up to speed with everything that's going on. I'm going to access all of the trainings, the tools, the resources that are available to me, whether it be company provided or team provided. I'm going to plug into those, you know, whether it be the code training or any of those other ones. Straight away, you'll identify any personal weaknesses that you may have and seek that skill development in those areas. So you might think, you know what, I have a bit of trouble with my invite script, so I'm just going to go and do some research. I'm going to go to Google. I'm going to look for invite scripts. I'm going to reach out to my upline to point me in the right direction. You know, that they really are quite capable of doing these things for themselves. And the fact is that those sorts of people that will succeed with or without upline support, they're just so determined, they're so committed that they will succeed regardless of anything else. But the problem is 80% of us are not self-starters. It's a huge number. And when you look at direct sales statistics, there is a really large dropout number. So it's like, I don't know the exact number, but it's about 90% of people will not go past their first year when it comes to starting a business. They might stay as customers, and, you know, particularly in our business, we know a lot of people will, you know, they might sign up for the business, but they might only ever really be a glorified customer because they don't really build the business. But yeah, so many people will not succeed in the business side of things because they are not self-starters and they haven't gotten to that next level of, you know, what can I do to continue this? So in many cases, if it is up to ourselves, it will almost always come down to excuses. So, you know, in the morning, like, you know, you could choose to get up and go for a run every single morning. And, you know, you could be saying, look, I'm going to be accountable to myself. I'm going to go for that run every single morning. But you can almost always come up with an excuse as to why you shouldn't go for a run. It might be, oh, you know what, it's a little bit cooler this morning, so I'll go for a walk this afternoon instead. Or, the kids, they've got something else on today, so I won't do it. But, if you've got an accountability partner or you're meeting somebody, then you're more likely to do it. You won't make those excuses, which takes us to the next level of accountability, which is being accountable to a leader or a mentor. And this is one which we talked about in this conversation. The leaders and I, we talked about, how can we support our teams and create that accountability. And it's actually a really challenging job as a leader or a mentor to keep your team accountable in a profession such as this, because we are not the bosses. We are not employing our team, and we aren't the ones paying them. You are all independent business owners. You are all running your own businesses. And we as uplines, we're there to support and love and care for you. But us pushing you constantly can sometimes feel, depending on the person, like we're just, riding them, and and they might not have that same level of commitment. So it can be quite a challenge for a leader or mentor. So I loved this quote. It says, holding people accountable to high standards and results is nothing to apologize for. Failing to stretch them to their potential is. So when it comes to being accountable to a leader or a mentor, they're there to support and stretch you and help you to grow. And, if you're willing to accept them as an accountability partner, then they can be, perfect for you. But it is a challenge because you are coming in where you're possibly have different goals, different directions. You might be running your businesses at different speeds, and it can come with challenges. So, like I said, a leader will help and support everyone. They will give love to all of their team. But you also need to remember that a leader will give up time for those action takers. So if you're showing that you have some level of accountability, you will find that your leaders will give up precious time to support you and help you grow. But you also have to accept that your goals and your level of commitment may be different in that arena. So that takes us to the third level of accountability. And this is where the secret sauce is. This is the big one. This is where you can absolutely maximize your business to the full potential. You can double, quadruple, 10 times it if you make the decision to adapt and adopt this type of accountability, which is having an accountability partner. Now, this is so people with accountability partners are 85 to 95% more likely to accomplish their goals. But who should your accountability partner be? And let me ask you the question, do you currently, right now, have an accountability partner? So, the question is, why do we avoid taking on accountability partners? And I am guilty of this. I have had opportunities to, be in accountability groups. We've talked about it with leaders all the time. And it tends to fizzle out a little bit. And usually it's because we don't want to disappoint. We don't want to let somebody down. And so in a big sense, it's not actually us letting them down. We're letting ourselves down very much in this situation. So yeah, I'm curious to know, and pop in the comments, and I'll have to check it at the end. I can't see them on the screen at the moment. But, if you do have an accountability partner, I'd love to hear. Because the research actually says that, in every case study, it points to the same thing. A culture of accountability has a direct correlation to the bottom line. So where there's accountability, it impacts the overall results of anything you're putting your mind to. Whatever you're being held accountable for, you will have a vast improvement in your results if you have an accountability partner. So when we know someone is watching, we do better. And that's not just in business, that is in life. You know, I am fully guilty of having so much more patience with my children when I know there's people in the house watching me. You know, if I you know, like sometimes, you know, we have moments where, you know, you think no one's watching, so you might just slip that little bit of extra chocolate. Or, you know, there's so many different situations where, you know, we can sometimes let ourselves down if we don't think anybody is watching us. But when we are being watched, when we know that we are accountable to somebody, we do better. So for just about everything, accountability helps. And, you know, and you take it back to just a typical job, a 9-to-5 job. We are accountable to a boss. So there's no question about whether when we go to work, we're going to get the jobs done or not. Everything else gets put to the side. Work is the focus. You have deadlines to meet and you are working through those. You know, but when it comes to our own business, we're more accountable to ourselves. And so we can say, oh, you know what, I'm just going to get that load of washing done before I do my DMO, or I'm just going to clean that room up first before I do my DMO, or, you know what, I've actually got to make a few calls and pay a few bills first. You know, we make all of these excuses and exceptions. So, you know, this is where an accountability partner can really help out. So what are we looking for in an accountability partner? So we're looking to find someone who is as committed as you are. Okay, so you're trying to find somebody at the same level. So, you know, if you're wanting to run this full time, you need to find somebody who is also wanting to run this full time. If you're somebody who has 5 hours a week to spend on this, find somebody else who has 5 hours. Okay, if you are, you know, really wishy-washy and, you know, your partner is deadly focused, you're going to be letting them down, and they're, you know, probably not going to be able to support you as well as you'd like to. So, you know, and vice versa. So number 2 is find someone who's not only using similar strategies as you, but someone who has similar goals as you. So for us in this industry, it could be, you know what, if you want to build online, you know, go to, and even as specific as, you know, what are they building on LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook, you know, if they're all online, find somebody who's doing the same. If you're someone who prefers the face-to-face side of things, you know, going out and doing local markets or in homes and, you know, those sorts of things, find somebody else who is also doing those sorts of things. Number 3 is make sure that you are picking someone who has a positive mindset. Okay, so you don't want to pick someone who's negative and has the scarcity mentality. And can I just say, like, the mindset side of thing is something you can also support each other with, but you want to go into it with the intention of having that positive mindset, so you can help each other to lift each other's mindset as you're going along. That's a big part of it. Number 4 is find someone who is definitely going to push you out of your comfort zone and keep you in check. This is super important, super important, okay? So, and for all of us, you know, and even for myself included, this is to keep somebody accountable is going to be stepping out of your comfort zone in a way as well, because we all want to be liked and, you know, the caring person and, you know, the person that does all the right things. And keeping someone accountable can sometimes feel a little bit confronting, but it's a growth journey. It's a growth journey for everyone. So number 5 is finding an accountability partner doesn't have to be someone who's on your team. And this is probably one of the biggest ones, okay? Because if you've got someone who's upline or downline from you, sometimes there is that feeling of, well, you know, I'm not just riding you to build my business. I'm, you know, like there's that professional ground there, I guess you could call it. So finding someone who's actually in a different leg to you means that there's no, you know, blurring of the lines or anything like that. You're actually genuinely just keeping each other accountable. Neither one is going to benefit from either success, so you're just there to keep each other accountable. So you don't have to, you don't even have to have someone who's in the same company as you. So long as it's someone who can understand your journey. It could be someone from a completely different company, and this happens all the time. You can collaborate with other leaders in other companies, and you're both going for the same goals. You can share stories and all the rest of it. It does make it a little bit easier being in the same company because you can both be running for the same incentives and all the rest of it. But yeah, definitely does not have to be in the same line as you. Finding someone who's in a separate line to you is a really powerful thing to do. So number 6, after finding the right accountability partner, you need to make sure that you're constantly checking in with this person. Okay, so this is a super critical part. It should be daily minimum. Every day, just checking in, or 6 out of 7 days. You might have one day that's shut down, but you should be reporting your numbers to each other. It is also very powerful to find an accountability partner who has strengths where you may have some weaknesses, and vice versa. So that way you can be giving each other a bit of skills training, supporting each other to build each other's skills. So once you have found your perfect accountability partner, it's really important to make your goals and your expectations really clear. So when we set goals, any goal should be so clear that a 5-year-old can tell you if you've done it or not. So when it comes to having an accountability partner, it's not just the big goal that you're looking at. We're looking at daily accountability. So this is the daily actions. And, to me and for all of you, it's probably very obvious that you'd be looking at your DMO tracker and saying to your accountability partner, what's your daily minimum? And this is my daily minimum. So it might be that you add 5 new friends a day, send messages to 5 people a day, send out 5 invites a day, do 5 follow-ups a day, or even one and one of each of those things. Whatever number it is, it should be so clear. Like, these are things that you can just tick off. You can say, yes, I've done it. It's a black or white answer, yes or no. Okay, clear as, so that when your accountability partner checks in and says, okay, so how many people have you followed up with today? You should be able to say, I followed up with 4 people, I followed up with 3 people, I followed up with 10 people, whatever that number may be. So very clear goals, targets, so that it's easy to be accountable to those. Set yourself small daily actions that will lead you to your larger goal. So share your big goals with your accountability partner. It might be that, in 3 months' time, I want to promote to the next level, or whatever that might be. But these are my daily actions, because your accountability partner will be able to also talk with you as to whether you are on track to achieving that goal, if you're doing enough to achieve that big picture goal with those actions. And then be sure to write down your partner's goals as well. So for all of what they're keeping you accountable for, you need to be supporting them and doing it the same for them. So keep track of it, making sure you're checking in with them daily as well. So the success formula: find yourself an accountability partner. Determine what you will hold each other accountable for. Number 3, decide on the consequence or the reward for the action/inaction. So with this one, it can be that you have agreed that 7 days of consistent action equates to some form of a coffee catch up with your accountability partner. It might be once a month. At the end of the month, if you've been on track, then you go out for your lunch together, or something like that's something that appeals to me. But it could be anything that appeals to you. It could be that you get to buy yourself a new book to read, or something along those lines. And then what's the consequence for the inaction? It could be that both of you work together, and if one of you doesn't remain accountable for a week, you have to put $5 in the jar, and at the end of the month, that's the money that you go out to lunch with for, or gets paid for the person who is accountable. Who knows? Something along those lines, but some sort of reward or consequences. These few different personality types. And then last of all, number 4 is to check in with each other no less than daily. I did mention that one just before, but that's another reminder, because checking in with each other is extremely important. So keep on track with that. So I hope that was all a little bit helpful. I'm just going to stop the share so I can check all the comments, the chat window here now. Oh, there's some big ones. So I don't want an accountability partner. I want a drill sergeant. I've heard you say that so many times. Janelle, have you found your drill sergeant yet? Well, I'm in full action mode. I might be ready to start doing that now, but you know, you got to accept that as well. Dean and I are making ourselves accountable partners in crime. I love that. Well done, Sam and Dean. I have seen too, you guys are full action at the moment, which is awesome. With Janelle, you need a drill sergeant, Tanya. Awesome. And boot camp drill sergeant. Yep. Yes, I feel I haven't achieved and maybe fall short with myself, and it is tougher to admit it to someone else. I'm so guilty of this. Like, I'm an action taker, and I feel like I am, you know, mostly a self-starter in the sense that I am very determined. I'm not going to quit. I can do so many of these things myself. But when it comes to having an accountability partner, I shy away because I don't mind giving myself a day off every now and then, and I don't want to be accountable to someone for that. So, you know, it's a tough one. We do let ourselves fall short sometimes. And, you know, if I was going to a 9-to-5 job, it wouldn't be a question of whether I did it or not. You know, my work ethic's there. But when I'm boss to myself, we do make exceptions. So yeah, having an accountability partner is a tough one. I'd love to hear in the comments if you're going to go and find yourself an accountability partner now. Pop in there. Are you looking for one? Yes, I want an accountability partner. Let's see all of that so that you know, we can try and pair some people up. So what else have we got? Yes, it's why you do the 8-week challenges. So yeah, Janelle, that's right, because you've got that accountability. It's exactly right. Procrastination with the housework, Ashley. Yes, I know. I can do that too. Dan, don't pick me. I have too much fun. Oh, that's not a bad thing. Having a fun accountability partner is a good thing. Yes. Oh, that was awesome. Yes, you and Karen, Janelle, definitely. And different legs, but you guys connected and kept each other so accountable. And that was powerful because both of you had exceptional growth. So that's awesome. Oh, yes. And Tan, thank you for the reminder. So Tan Murphy is putting her hands up for accountability and keeping herself accountability. 5:30 a.m. every single morning, Tan is doing a power half hour. So it's a 30-minute block. And she has said anybody who wants to join her at 5:30 of the morning, she's going to have her Zoom. We will create a Zoom so you can jump on, not to chat, but to keep each other accountable so you can see each other's faces while you're doing that. So yeah, come on. I can't see anyone saying, yes, I'm finding an accountability partner yet. Did I not tell you that this is going to 10 times your business? Awesome. Dan's in. Well done. You got your first accountability partner there, Tan. That's awesome. And I'd love to see anyone else who jumps in. Okay, guys, I won't hold you up any longer. I hope you got some value out of that. And I'd love to hear everyone who's going to find themselves an accountability partner, because it certainly is powerful. All right. Talk soon.